welcome my co-host, Chantal Broderick, who will be speaking with Collette Evans in our special educational intensive show. Today's topic, tips for creating professional photos on your smartphone. Hi, everyone. I'm the weekly host of the Fitness Business Podcast, Dory Nugent. Every 3 months, we have our education intensive show that allows us to dive deeper into a topic for you. Today's education intensive is a real how-to show. You'll hear specific actions you need to do to implement the strategies and ideas. We'll hear from Chantal shortly. First, a few words from our sponsor of the show, ISSA.
Health club leaders, you work hard to ensure your members have the very best fitness experience, right? You need personal trainers who do the same. Become a preferred partner with ISSA, and we'll deliver the best trainers in the industry to your club in a matter of days, fully certified and ready to work. And we'll help you keep those trainers by offering them exclusive discounted pricing on ISSA certifications. Because when your trainers stay, so do your valued members. Becoming a preferred partner with ISSA is absolutely free. Click above or visit issaonline.com/fitbiz to get trainers now.
A big thanks to Dan and his team at ISSA for supporting today's show. ISSA always has new and cool things going on, so check out their website for all of the updates. www.issaonline.com. After Chantal's interview, hang around as Aaron Moore joins us for the Quick Fire 5 segment. Aaron will be here next week to give his expert advice on how to effectively recruit, interview, and hire. Aaron Moore is the Director of Operations for Urban Adventures Companies, which is the parent company of Vita Fitness, Aura Spa, and Sweatbox, just to name a few. Before we get started, I would like to take a minute to let all of our FBP family know that sadly, this will be Chantal's last show with the Fitness Business Podcast. Chantal is the OG. She joined the podcast 7 years ago as the weekly host when Justin Tamsett had this forward-thinking idea about starting this educational platform. Chantal has interviewed hundreds of guests, the best of the best in the industry. She has been in our cars, our offices, and she has educated us during our workouts, right? Chantal has been an intricate part of the success of the Fitness Business Podcast. Chantal, you are a friend to so many, and for me personally, you have been an amazing mentor. I speak for everyone when I say, Chantal, you will be missed dearly.
Professional facilitation with a group of non-competing owners to stay ahead of the industry curve is the USP of Rex Roundtables. To find your local roundtable, go to rexroundtables.com. That's rexroundtables.com.
It is now time to transition into the Education Intensive with Chantal Broderick.
Thanks, Dory, and hi, everyone. This month's Educational Intensive episode is all about tips and tricks for great pics. My guest for this episode is Collette Evans. She's the founder of Picture Perfect Photography, a business that specializes in commercial and fitness photography. Collette has been a professional photographer since 2002, and in addition to running her full-time business, she's also a natural bodybuilder with 8 first-place trophies and a British title. Collette first caught our eye because of the fantastic content that she has on her website, where she shares photography, social media, and branding advice specific to a fitness audience. So pretty perfect for the FBP family. In my chat with Collette, I asked her to share some of her favorite tips for taking great photos with a smartphone, advice for improving your photos and planning for social media, and how to take the best photos of your gym. Now, make sure that you listen in at the end of each segment today because I'll be sharing some extra tips and links for great resources along the way. It's now time for this week's interview with Collette Evans. Let's dive straight in. Hey, Collette, welcome along. It is so great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Looking forward to shedding some light on how to basically take better photos for the fitness industry and people with a business in that industry. Hopefully I can share my expertise. Even if you've not got a professional camera and you're just using a smartphone, there is really good ways to sort of present your brand better.
One of the reasons we were so excited about doing this particular episode with you today, Collette, is because I think sometimes people do shy away from doing like a big photo shoot. Perhaps it's something that they don't have any experience with. Perhaps they need to know how to utilize their phone camera. I mean, obviously our phone cameras can be great these days to take the best quality photo. So that's where your expertise comes in. And I know that you've got a lot of experience behind the camera, but you're also going to share with us how we can actually make the most of our smartphone cameras. So let's have a bit of a chat about that. What would be your 5 top tips for taking great photos with a smartphone?
Well, first off, obviously get the best phone possible. So, like, I've got the latest iPhone, it's got 3 cameras. That's always a good point. But even if you've not got like the latest technology, that's fine. But first off would be to actually clean the lens on the actual camera, because you'll notice it'll look hazy if not. So that's my first number 1 tip. That's what I always go to do. The second one would be to go into the settings and make sure the settings are on HD. So make sure the quality is the highest and it's taking photos at the highest quality or videos at the highest quality. I'd say maybe like the third is just think about what's around your picture. So maybe if there's like rubbish on the floor or just distracting things around it, obviously like zoom in or walk towards the subject. So that's kind of another tip in itself, that you're walking towards the subject and what we call is like filling the frame. So you make sure that the focus of what you're taking is actually really obvious, rather than being really far away and having lots of irrelevant things around, if that makes sense. And then maybe like the last one would probably be just getting any branding in. If you can maybe wear some clothing that's got your brand on, or even like brand colours, just to give that association, or even using like a water bottle or anything that relates to your brand will really tie it together and make your pictures look really good. And obviously editing is another part of it as well. So technically that's a 6th tip, but there's a few apps you can use. So yeah, once you start it, you can't stop it.
Hey FBP family, I just wanted to quickly recap those 5 tips from Collette, plus share a couple of bonus tips with you all. So Colette's 5 were: number 1, when possible, try and use the latest smartphone, because of course the camera quality is constantly evolving. Number 2, always check your lens. I know it sounds super simple, but a clean lens makes a big difference. Number 3, check your phone settings and make sure that they're on HD before you start snapping those pics. Number 4, think about what is in the frame when you're shooting and make sure that you adjust the background if needed. And number 5, always try and get some branding in the shot, whether it's your logo or your brand colors. Now, here are those extra bonus tips. You can find these on Colette's website, and I'll include the link in the show notes. First of all, always take photos in both landscape and portrait format. You might not need them right away, but it means that you've got a variety of aspects on hand for later use. Number 2, people. People love to buy from people. So make sure that you show the people that are involved in your business. Include yourself, your team, your customers, your ambassadors, anyone that represents your business and your brand. Now, here's 2 other things that I learned from Collette. It's a little focus and lighting trick for iPhone users out there. Now, let's do this together. Providing you're not driving or you're not on the treadmill right now as you're listening to this, go ahead and grab your smartphone and go into picture mode. So get ready to take a photo of something that's nearby. And once you've got that subject in frame, we are set to go. I'm going to use a kettlebell as my subject for this. So rather than using the camera autofocus setting when you open up into picture mode, just tap once on the area of your screen that you want the camera to focus on, and that will focus in on that specific spot. Now you can actually lock the focus in place so that your subject remains sharp as you move the phone and you compose the shot. To lock the focus, instead of just tapping once, You just need to press and hold where you want that camera to focus. And when it's locked in that spot, you'll see a little yellow box pop up at the top of your screen and it says AE/AF lock. Then that's locked in. Now, next up, you can adjust the lighting. It's similar to adjusting and locking the focus. You can adjust and lock the exposure or the brightness of your pictures. So to do that, do this with me as well. Just tap anywhere at all on that image and then drag the little sun icon up or down, and you'll see that you can instantly make the photo brighter or darker. It's a pretty cool little tip. Additionally, you can also press and hold to lock the exposure in the same way that you did the focus. And again, you'll see that little yellow box up the top labeled AE/AF lock. That'll appear once that is locked in. So give that a go and see how those quick little tips work for you. Now, we're going to get back into the interview and Collette's going to share advice on how to use photos to best represent your brand on social media, and make sure that you listen out for her tip on planning photos with the 9-grid format in mind, and what she says about the use of different colors in photos.
First off, I think when you're looking at a business, any business, I always look at the types of photos you can take. So for the fitness industry, I always suggest quite a few different sort of photos we can take. So first one would be personal brand. So capturing you in the gym, and that kind of goes into its own sort of category because you've got yourself in the gym as a trainer. You also might want to show a little bit of personality and a bit of a personal like lifestyle angle. So it might be you at home on a laptop, like an online coach. It might be going shopping, showing what you do in your spare time, showing that like nice balance, healthy, well-being lifestyle that you lead, just to show your clients that you're not always just in the gym. It gives more of a balanced approach. But then also we can look at photos of you with your clients, obviously client transformations, so physique shoots and training them as well, and training yourself. Then obviously the actual gym environment that you work in, you can show that off, maybe a consultation, the food you eat, supplements you take. There's lots and lots of different variety there that's available for you to take. You've just got to think outside the box instead of just posting before and after. And that's all that your grid is. You need to have a bit of a constant stream. So in terms of social media, I try to think of it as like a 9 grid, because that's what you come to when you're on your phone. Looking at those 9, like each grid square is a type of photo that's different, basically. So like I've just mentioned, all those types of photos there, you need to rotate that on a weekly basis. So I'd say that's really, really important. And it is more variety, but then also using colour as well is really important, I think, because it stands out on a feed. So whether that be you have a photo shoot done with a photographer on a background, you find some like a coloured like wall, like graffiti or something like that, they're really colourful, or you wear some clothing. I always say for like outfits or photo shoots or just taking photos generally, it's better to have something a bit more colourful and bright and still try and relate back to your brand if possible. So I think use of colour is really underestimated and can really have a good association. I know that for the fitness industry in terms of food photography and supplements, the sort of like mint green teal colour is very popular at the moment. It's supposed to sort of be a colour that promotes eating but also health. So you can look at what different types of colours do. For instance, like purple is for creativity. If you look at sort of the opposite of health, but the food industry in general, sort of KFC is sort of white and red. Mm-hmm. McDonald's is red and yellow. So that promotes that hunger signal. So just look at maybe like positivity. So I think it's yellow and orange for positivity or something. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure it is off the top of my head. So you can look into different things like that and look at the more emotive side of social media when you're presenting those images, looking at how that will affect someone's emotions and maybe make them think a little bit, how will it make them feel. So maybe just try not to post something for the sake of it. It has to have value as well. So when you're taking photos, try and show that a value off to your clients and try and show them something. You are actually literally showing, it's like show and tell, rather than just posting any photo that's just of yourself. try and have the client in mind or the customer or the viewer in mind, and think how they're going to receive that and what's the benefit of them actually spending their time viewing that image.
I think that's such great advice, Claire. And I love that idea of having a think about the colours that you utilise, whether it's the colours that you're wearing or that you're framing up in the shot, and how that's going to be portrayed, how that's going to make your customers or your prospects feel about the images that they're seeing from you. FBP family, as I was researching for today's interview, I was able to find a great article about the psychology of colour, what different colours mean in marketing. So I'm going to pop a link to the article in the show notes, but in line with what Collette just shared, the article attributes yellow to warmth, optimism and happiness, red to energy and appetite, green to food and nature, and blue to trust and confidence. That is just a snapshot, but if you want to check out the full article, then hit the link in today's show notes. Now back to the show. I just wanted to go back to what you were talking about with the grid. I'd love to know, because I know that you are very active on social media, you have a great following, you produce a lot of content, photo and video content. Do you have a planning process that you use or that you could share or recommend to the FBP family around how you actually plan that content?
Yeah, so I have a social media manager who works in-house for me, so that helps, and a marketing manager. So they manage that, but they use Scheduler, so they use Social Bee as a platform to schedule all posts across all platforms. I do my personal content myself on my Instagram, but it's pre-planned, so every month we do a plan for the month to make sure it's balanced. So from an athlete perspective, for myself, it's looking at what content I have to cover for any sponsorships or any partnerships that I'm sort of agreed to and in contract for, first and foremost, and then trying to show that I am a bodybuilder, that, I do compete, but also trying to show my business as well. On a Wednesday, try to show something from behind the scenes on a photo shoot. But we're always thinking about who we're trying to target with that. So it won't just be anything. It'll be, if we're looking at targeting personal trainers for photo shoots, I'll put that on, or gyms, I'll put that on, or products, I'll put that on. And the same, it all sort of relates back to Picture Perfect, which is my photography business. And that gets planned out in terms of who our target market is for that quarter, or the month, or what we're trying to promote at that time. So I think having a plan, it's just in a spreadsheet, is really important, because you can see how balanced your content's going to be. And generally what you post and what you show is what people actually inquire about. So I think it's important, if you wanted to grow your business and you want to take it in a direction, you've got to show a plan and goal. You need to have that content as a consistent thing over at least a month to 2 months. I know what my conversion times are, and it's not a week. I think people expect things overnight, so you've got to just be aware that you've got to really keep going and going and going with it. Obviously, your photography content, your video content is important on your grid, but it's also important to put that personality on stories as well. Mm-hmm. So making sure you're updating your stories regular. The great thing with a scheduling tool as well is you can see when your most active times are. Mm-hmm. So you can see when your audience actually engages. So it gives you a little bit more insight, and also gives you your top posts, so you can see what content to create more of for the next month. So I think it's a really good analytical tool, as well as just getting yourself organised. And also, it just allows you to go and sort of concentrate your clients and concentrate on your actual business and doing what you love. So get that done out of the way at the beginning of the month, all scheduled for the rest of the month, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off when you do that, doesn't it? That you have that organised, and then you can really do that other type of organic content. You can do that on the fly, do the stories on the fly. And I think that's good. The other thing that I think is really important to think about with that consistency of what you talked about, of, having regular posts, and perhaps it's each, I don't know, Wednesdays, like a workout Wednesday, or you might have a food Friday or something like that. But what I think builds from that journey is positioning you as a trainer. So the FBP family out there, if you've got a specialty, like Collette, you've got your bodybuilding background, if you've got that specialty, then having that consistency in posting your content, in showing those images or those videos, just consistently positions you as an expert in that area. And I think that is absolutely key when it comes to our social media. So in conjunction with those great photographs that you're taking or videos, the consistency in the messaging. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I think so. It's definitely consistency is key with any business. So I think it's really important to really show your audience what you want to show them. And that's where the planning comes in, because in the moment you could just panic and think, oh, I haven't got enough photos. So also I would say that maybe towards the end of the month, or if you do it weekly, that's fine also, but start thinking ahead and start thinking about what photos or videos you actually need. And we do a checklist. For me, it's a bit of a wish list sometimes for my athlete content because I get so busy, but we try and achieve those bits of content well in advance. So we're not sort of just putting anything out there on the day just because it's just a post. So it has to have intent, I think. That's the word to use. Your photos and videos have to have some good intent. But obviously, if you want to do it yourself, you can do, or you can employ a professional. And we do like a membership plan. So you get content every single month. And we're just always there, like tapping on your shoulder going, come on, it's time for the next photo shoot for this month. What's your goals? And we help drive that forward.
Yeah, and I think what you just said there is actually really key, and it's something that I hadn't thought of before, and that is having a checklist. It's such a simple method, but what a great idea that you would roll into the month or plan the month ahead by just saying, okay, here is a list of all of the content that I want to create for my business, and just go ahead and have it there, because I imagine that being able to have a fresh library every single month with fresh images that you can go and, as you say, like grab it, and you need to, because I don't know about all the listeners out there, but so often it happens that you think, oh God, I know I need to post something, or if I'm due to schedule something, oh, but I don't feel like doing it today, or I'm not wearing the outfit, or I'm not in the right place. So just having that beginning of month checklist of all of the content that you might want to draw upon that month, I think that's such a top idea.
Yeah, it really is. And also, like, I organise things on my phone into folders, into albums. So I've got Picture Perfect, I've got behind the scenes, I've got athletes, I've got sponsors, stuff for myself. So I've got them all in separate folders. So if I know on a Food Friday I need to like post about my supplement sponsor, it's all there. I just go into that folder. And also like going through, because I'm competing, I'm in prep at the moment, you look completely different to when you're in your off season. So I've got a bank of me looking different at different stages. So coming back around this year, I'm able to start using content from last summer if I need to, where I was sort of a bit leaner, rather than more recent things. So obviously you want to try and do something fresh every time, but there'll always be content that's left over that you haven't used. And people won't remember what you did a year ago. So you can always repurpose old content as well, I think. You don't always have to do something new. And also everywhere you go is a content opportunity. And it literally takes like 10 seconds, well, maybe a bit more, but maybe like 16 seconds or a minute, 2 minutes to grab that like photo. If you've got your phone on you, it's not that difficult. It's just about being aware of what you need to create and also your surroundings. So it's all about maximising for me. Wherever I am, I just think, okay, well, I'm going to a kitchen today, or someone's house that's got a good kitchen. I just take some of my supplements with me and make sure my hair's done and I've got an outfit on that I want to have a photo in. And I just literally take a photo when I arrive and go, okay, that's done now. Easy.
Okay, team. Now, further to those suggestions from Collette, here's a great list of types of photos that she recommends every fitness business should have. And I think this is a really great starting point for creating those folders on your phone and on your PC. So here they are: marketing and brand photos, studio and gym pictures, campaign and commercial photos for marketing, location photos of your town or suburb where your gym is based, on-site photos in your club, lifestyle photos of members using your gym, social media pictures, which can of course come from a variety of the other categories, photos of your systems and processes, so how you work with your clients, team and staff photos, and last but not least, creative pictures. Collette says to stretch the imagination and challenge the norm. Have a few photos up your sleeve that really stand out. Now, back to the show where Collette will share this week's Fitbispiration, which is how to take the best photos of your gym.
Get your pen ready now for Keep Me's Fitbispiration.
So first off, I think you have to show photos from far away, so wide angle, so show everything, and then show some specialist bits of equipment. So you can maybe take photos with people on the equipment and videos as well, people using the equipment, but make sure they're smiling and, not miserable, basically. So they're enjoying the experience. But also take some with people maybe like just generally interacting in the gym. So gym members, get some testimonials as well. So that's more video content. So again, it goes back to that variety of content. So it's getting different types of photos. But also if you're thinking about if you've got like a sunbed or you sell some products, maybe take photos of that and to advertise that. So in terms of the technical side of things, just make sure the camera is level. So actually on an iPhone, I don't know about on other phones, but you have actually you can put like a grid on. So you've got little squares, so you can make sure the camera's level. But if it's not, obviously you can crop it after. Always use the original crop. So if you're going to crop it, it'll ask you which size. But always use the original ratio, so make sure it's the same. Or you can crop it square if it's for Instagram. It's not really dissimilar to taking just any photo. So like I said, make sure it's focused by tapping on the screen. Make sure it's like bright and it just looks, depends if the gym's bright or dark, right? But make sure it's bright or actually in focus is the main thing, nicely. Make sure it's level.
Okay, great tips. Thank you so much. So Collette, tell us if people want to get in touch with you or if they want to learn a little bit more about what you do in the business, what's the best way for them to contact you?
So you can go on my website, which is pictureperfectphoto.co.uk, or Instagram is pictureperfectphoto.uk. My personal athlete Instagram is Collette_Evans_photo. Or we've got a YouTube as well for both those, so Collette Evans and Picture Perfect. We've got a YouTube on there. There's lots of behind the scenes on the Picture Perfect YouTube as well. And I think there's actually a lighting video on there, along with a blog about lighting in gyms on the website.
Collette, thank you for joining us today on the show. It's been great learning from you.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It's been really good. And hopefully that's helped a few people who are maybe struggling with content ideas, because that's the one thing that I find people struggle with more than the technical side. It's more the ideas of what photos to take generally. So if anyone's got any questions, they can obviously always contact me and I'll try to help. But like I say, we have actually got a couple of online courses as well. If you go into the website, it's all on there. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Collette. A big thank you once again to Collette, and a reminder that I'll put all of those links to the resources in today's show notes at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Thanks for joining me today.
Looking for a gym wipe that is gentle on fitness equipment but tough on eliminating germs? Look no further. Vapor Fresh gym wipes are specifically designed to be safe on all gym equipment. And the fact that they are the only plant-based disinfectant wipe on the market makes them the top choice. Vapor Fresh wipes come in 2 convenient sizes. The smaller canister is perfect for home gyms and boutique studios, and the jumbo refill roll fits perfectly into the dispensers. Vapor Fresh wipes, 100% happiness guaranteed.
Quickfire 5, sponsored by Hapana.
Erin Moore joins us for our Quickfire 5 segment, so let's find out a little bit more about Erin and why you need to tune in next week to hear his episode. Erin, thank you so much for coming on to our Quickfire 5 this week. You're going to actually be our guest next week. So we always like to have our guests come on the week before and just kind of have a little Q&A to get to know you. I already learned that you are an avid ice hockey player and you like whitewater rafting. Am I right?
You're right about that. I'm not a very good hockey player, but I have a lot of fun doing it.
Oh, well, that's good. That's what's mostly important. So let's get started. We're going to learn 4 more fun facts about you. The first one being, what is one item on your bucket list?
So I really want to summit all of the 54 to 58 Colorado 14ers. So I love being outdoors. My perfect exercise moment is something completely exhausted with a scenic view. And I get to enjoy my perfect cheat meal, which is on the summit of these 14ers. I have a processed deli meat Lunchable and a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos. So that's kind of my happy place.
I love the bucket list item. Hey, listen, I read that you are a mountain guy and a snow and cold guy. And I'm sitting here right across from the beach and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm a little contrarian in that regard. I always tell people if it gets above 70 degrees, I start to get really irritable. So most people have space heaters in their offices during the winter, and I basically need a cryotherapy chamber or a beer cooler or something like that.
Hey, that's what makes the world go round. All right, here we go. Dying to know whose business brain you would pick for our question number 2.
So my quasi-cliche answer is Mark Cuban. And I feel like a lot of people would say that, but I've had the opportunity to meet a couple of the sharks from Shark Tank. And I find that they all say the same thing. It's like, yeah, we're successful, but Mark Cuban is more successful than all of us combined. So I'd really like to talk to him about, like, you make all the other sharks seem like they're irrelevant in your presence. Like, what do you think makes you so successful that even successful people are like, oh, I'm nothing compared to that guy?
So he must be the great white and the rest are just babies.
I guess so.
They're little sand sharks. All right. What is the most visited page on your website?
Penthouse Pool Club by far. And that's not just during the pool season. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but just the socialization, the food and beverage component. People are working and teleworking from up there. So that's our number 1 page.
Fantastic. And love for you to give a book recommendation for all of our FBP family.
So I really like the Oz Principle, published by a group called Partners in Leadership. And it's a really cool book on motivation, accountability, and healthy conflict.
Okay, I think that's a first for us. So thank you so much. That's perfect. And finally, here we go. What is one moment of next week's episode?
So it's interesting. Our company was started on cardio equipment, strength equipment, and group fitness classes. And over the years, exercise has really become almost secondary for us. So the big focus areas for us right now are wellness and recovery. Our spas are becoming larger and larger and incorporating more of a recovery component. Our food and beverage offerings, people want to eat and socialize more and more. And then our social events calendar. So we're really trying to create that community space where exercise is so convenient that why not do it?
I hope you enjoyed today's show with Chantal and Collette. I want to personally thank you for joining us today. And if you would like to contact Collette for more information, please head to our show notes at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. And now it's time to hand out a few thank yous. First, I'd like to thank our founding partner, Active Management. Our partners, Keep Me, MyZone, Discover Strength, ISSA, and Hapana, as well as our advertisers, Rex Roundtables, MX Metrics, and Vaporfresh. We believe what you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but woven into the lives of others.